Hello and welcome to the Bronco Wave. Today back with Bitcoin in US dollar. And I decided to wait a couple of days before I had my next look at Bitcoin in US dollar. And just to let Bitcoin unfold its price movements. And in my last video, I mentioned that Bitcoin was a little bit oversold in this price area. And there was some upwards potential over the next couple of days or maybe the next week, which Bitcoin took. So Bitcoin made this nice upwards movement, and I expected either a bounce off this trend line or this area with the lows that generated down there. And turns out that Bitcoin did both. So we got this bounce off this trend line. You can see to the point actually, but then there was enough buying interest to propel Bitcoin over this trend line and even reach this higher area. And in my book, I think this could be the high, at least for the moment. But we could see, Bitcoin is moving towards neutral territory, so we could see a little bit higher prices, but I really do not expect Bitcoin to go above $12,000. So in my opinion, this price range right here should be the end of this upwards movement, which is in my opinion really looks like a correctional move. And my expectation for Bitcoin is that Bitcoin goes down, and not even towards this price area, but even down here towards this $9,000 price range. So if you're familiar with Elliott waves, we always have this 5 movement pattern up, which is essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those obviously can make up waves of higher degrees. But this pretty much looks like a completed move, and we are now in this correctional wave 2. And wave 2s usually like to go sharp and deep, so they are very sudden and go down quite a lot of price distance, just to shake off those insecure hands that do not believe in the coming impulse. So we will have to see how deep this wave 2 goes, and if this movement, if it goes down here and hopefully stops at $9,000, is a wave 2 or just a wave A of the correctional pattern. So there's the possibility that Bitcoin goes down here, comes back up again, then bounces off this trend line again, and maybe even goes one step lower towards this 0.5 retracement. So that's definitely another possibility for Bitcoin. And especially if we look at the weekly chart in my opinion is a little bit concerning, because on a weekly basis there is still a lot more room for Bitcoin. And if I would have to make my decisions or my expectations or my assumptions for future Bitcoin prices based on the weekly chart, I would place the Bitcoin price somewhere maybe down here. So that's, I hate to say it, but a possibility for Bitcoin. And I really do not hope Bitcoin goes down here, but we have to be careful at the moment. Everyone's crying for the rally and screaming rally and bullish. It's usually what's all the time happening in Bitcoin, but I'm not so sure for the moment. And at least for the coming days or weeks, I expect the correctional movement to go on and just to at least reach this $9,000 area, which from an Elliott wave perspective would be really harmonic, because those wave 2s like to go at least into the price range of the previous wave 4, and this previous wave 4 would be this green wave 4. And so this would be really harmonic if Bitcoin went down here into this area and then hopefully forms a bottom right here and then ignites the next nice bull run, which should take hopefully Bitcoin through this trend line and towards this trend line. And that's something that we are going to see when some time passes. Of course, Bitcoin will progress in its price movements, and we'll just have to wait how Bitcoin behaves once it reaches this area down here. Right now, the most important thing for Bitcoin is this diagonal trend line. This is the trend line connecting the all-time high at the end of 2017 with this intermediary high at the end of June 2019. And this trend line is pointing down, as you can see. And this is the one topping Bitcoin right now. So if Bitcoin manages at some point in the future to stabilize itself above this trend line, this bullish potential can be used and unlocked, obviously. And I mean, the more time passes, the more this line goes down, and so there's clearly some point in time where Bitcoin obviously has to go lower before this line reaches zero or something, which is not something I expect, but I think you get my idea. So the more time passes, the easier it will be for Bitcoin to cross this trend line and leave it behind. Yeah, and I really hope it's already going to be in the next couple of weeks, hopefully this year, that Bitcoin breaks this trend line. But yeah, from the given perspective, I mean, right now you can see Bitcoin is moving towards neutral territory, but if I just switch back to the weekly chart for a moment, you can see that Bitcoin is quite in a really high place, and the one thing that concerns me the most with Bitcoin at the moment are those tops in the MACD that continuously get lower. So this is something I don't really know what to make of it yet, but yeah, this is something I don't know. I mean, you can see that essentially following those highs, there has been a move down, and this is yet to come. Yeah, so this is what I mean with I could also place Bitcoin somewhere down here, and if we look at the EMA 200 on a weekly basis, we get this yellow line that's somewhere in the $6,000, $7,000 range, and so it's definitely a possibility that Bitcoin might even go towards this $6,000 or $7,000 range, and from there start its next move. I mean, it would be perfectly healthy for wave 2 to go down here, because judging by the Elliott wave rules, it is allowed for this wave 2 to correct up to 99% of the previous price movement, yeah, which would essentially mean that Bitcoin could go down to $3,840 and still be a wave 2, and from there spark this next impulse. I personally do not expect Bitcoin to go there, and I really do not hope Bitcoin goes there, but as I said, judging from a weekly perspective, or the perspective on the weekly prices, I would probably have to move this 2 down here. But the good news is, if we get down here, I would completely remove this A. In my opinion, this would definitely be enough to mark this wave 2 as finished, and from there open the possibility for the next impulsive move to the upside, and hopefully finally take Bitcoin first of all above this high, and then over the course of this move even above $20,000, which is basically a new all-time high, before placing Bitcoin at above $30,000. But the more time passes, I'm more and more certain that this right here is moving further into 2021 at least, and maybe even this goes into 2021. So yeah, the time horizon, so Bitcoin is taking quite its time to make those nice moves and its upwards moves. And yeah, but this is just what I mean with saying that we have to be careful with Bitcoin for the moment. On a daily basis, we're in neutral territory, but eventually those moves, they will be made at some point, and the deciding factor how low this goes is how far up it goes in the first place. So for this move to not go significantly lower, at least towards this or this price area, we will probably need a new high, which in my opinion is unlikely at the moment. And yeah, so I hope you get my idea. So this is essentially what I'm expecting for Bitcoin. So I mean, this down move on a weekly basis could take some more weeks, obviously, and we could even see just a move down here, then a move up, as I mentioned earlier in the video, and then another move down, and maybe towards this 0.5 retracement or this 0.618. So both of them definitely possibilities, and yeah, but right now, just to sum the short-term perspective up, just to stay with the short-term perspective for this moment right now, I expect Bitcoin, if this was not the high, just to go a little bit higher, not significantly, and then essentially drop down towards this $9,000 area. And yeah, this is what I expect for Bitcoin over the next couple of days or weeks. So yeah, we could see the turnaround and then just plummet down basically, and yeah, reach this price area, and here hopefully form a bottom and then generate a new impulsive move upwards to break through this and leave it behind itself, and then aim for this trend line. But yeah, those are future steps. And first of all, this is important. We have to see, does Bitcoin drop right now, or does it go a little bit higher? The second step will be watching this price area. Will Bitcoin go there, and then will Bitcoin stabilize itself here, or even just drop below it immediately? So yeah, that's it for Bitcoin for the moment. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching, and see you soon.